Former Omaha City Council member Vinny Palermo is due back in court in Lincoln within the hour. And that is where we kick things off here on First at 3. Our Brian Mastry live from Lincoln here. Brian, today's hearing pertains to a motion filed by Palermo's lawyer really just hours after he changed his plea last week. What's this motion all about?
Correct. Essentially, Dave, he just wants to get out of jail until he is sentenced. So we're here outside the federal courthouse in Lincoln, where Vinny Palermo, as you said, was just here on Friday. That is when he made a guilty plea to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That was essentially a connection to trading favors and using nonprofits for his power in the city council and then taking financial advantage of those same nonprofits. In return, the government dropped the other 8 counts against him. Palermo, as we said, has been locked up since the indictment in April, so for 4 months. Today, his legal team's asking the judge to let him out before he's sentenced for his guilty plea in November. His attorney said it would be a chance for Palermo to get his personal affairs in order before he heads to federal prison, which, based on the plea deal reached with the government, would be 21 months, and then 17 months, really, if you would subtract the time served. So, Dave, when we're talking about white-collar suspects, even those who plead guilty in federal court, it is not unusual for them to be released while they wait for that sentencing to get their affairs in order. But as we've said for months, this case is anything but usual. Remember, Magistrate Cheryl Zwart said that she didn't trust any of the 4 defendants to not obstruct justice if she let them out before trial. And who do you know that he's making the argument to be let out before his November sentencing? That very same judge. We will have all the details for you as things develop here in the next half hour. On your side in Lincoln, Brian Mastry, 6 News.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. We'll look forward to your reports throughout the afternoon here on 6 News.